Hi all, and welcome back to my channel. And welcome to what I think is the first review I've done on my channel of 2021. And I'm going to be reviewing a product, coincidentally, that's, definitely by this time, it is old news. I anti-hauled this palette when it first came out, and then I had so many of y'all were like, please, I beg of you, review this. I'm dying. I want to know if you like it. And like I said, I had so many people, and then I went on, and I think Colourpop was having a like 35%, some kind of significant sale where I was like, you know what? I got a little Christmas money. I got my little bit of stash, whatever. So I went in and I bought it on sale. And that is the Colourpop Fade Into Hue Rainbow Palette right here. Now, I am wearing some shades from the green section here on my glorious peepers today. And also, if you'd like to see me using this palette on camera, it wasn't so much of a try-on focused video as it was a get ready with me that I had like some things I wanted to talk about. But in that video, I did use this palette and I tucked into the purple section. Really enjoyed how it came out. I will leave that shizz link down below. But we're gonna review this palette. I'm gonna get all kinds of swatches up in here. We're gonna have some comparison between like some of the monochromatic palettes. So it's like, if you have those, do you really need this? You know, just kind of running the full gambit. So without further ado, let's just get into the swatches because we've got a lot of color to go over. Brought y'all in just a titchy bit closer so you could see the swatches better. And I'll just say it now, someone down below is gonna be like, your swatches suck. And I'm like, I know they do. I don't get paid to do swatches, you know? So let's just go in and I'm just gonna start. We'll do each row. So I'm gonna start off with this like pinky rosy. This is the most similar to, I would have to say, the Ooh La La and Strawberry Shake palette. So we have Fantasyland right here. We have Lovecraft, which I must admit, that's not a color that comes to my mind when I think of the name Lovecraft. If you know, you know. And then the pressed glitter here, which is prismatic, which was kind of a little bit chunky, a little bit like kind of falling out of the pan when I got it. So we'll just have these right here. Ooh, they're going to be glitter all over me for the next week because of this. Then lastly, on this row, we have Atelier, maybe, and Paradise. So far, all the mattes feel like typical Colourpop mattes. I will admit, I do love this shade here. It's one of those stupid mattes that has a glitter in it. I just use it like a matte. 9 times out of 10, the glitter just piffs off into the atmosphere anyway. So I go into it being like, well, I'm using this shade as if it didn't have glitter in it. All right, on to the next row, which is the like orangey peachy. This is the most similar to the, I've got the palettes down there, the Orange You Glad and the Baby Got Peach. So we're gonna start off with Treasure. We're gonna start off with, this is like, I wish they could have turned this pressed glitter into a shimmer. If they could have done that like tangerine-y, goldy, almost greeny, limey shift in there. I really wish that, you know, that had been a shimmer and not a pressed glitter. Then we have Art Deco, another matte with shimmer in it. Beautiful shade though. I mean, look at that. Ka-cha, cha-cha-cha. So here we go right here. Oh, struggle bus, struggle bus. I mean, it's just got, if they could have taken that like iridescence and that duochrominess and translated it into a shimmer, I would have been a happy camper. Second verse, same as the first, it's got glitter in it. I use it like a matte without glitter in it and it works fine. Then the yellow section here, which is obviously closest to the yellow palette. That one's in Virginia. It's not here with me in Tennessee, so I can't do really any on-camera comparisons with that one because it's not one that I use a lot. I do really like the colors of yellow in here. Once again, if they could have taken this glitter, this is, oh, did I not say the names? I absolutely did not. For the orange, it's Treasure, So Precious, Art Deco, Retro Dream, and Love Plus Warhol, which I like. But like I said, if they could have just gotten this like shift and, I mean, look, if that could have just been like a foiled or some kind of something instead of a glitter, We've got Big Smile right here, which is, you know, matte with glitter in it. And then Shine Bright, which is a beautiful, beautiful yellow gold there. All right, we're just gonna go here. I mean, that's just so pretty. If only that had like not been a glitter. And then we've got this right here and this. Oh, that is probably my favorite out of the yellow section, that shizz, because it's just so perfectly yellow golden. Then last here is Bonus Points, which is kind of like a almost mustard leaning yellow. And then we have Abstract, which is just straight up Daffodil Buttercup Sunshine Yellow. Going on very there. For yellow, I do love this shade right here. I've actually used this shade and then gone in with like some grungy browns afterwards. Really, really enjoyed how that came out. All right, let's see if we can fit the green on here. You all, if you're familiar with Snapchat and everything like that, all my whatevers are always leave down below if you want to follow me on Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, etc. But I had tried this section. This was the first section I tried, obviously, when I got the palette, and it did not go over well. I was exceptionally upset and butthurt over that, but I did try it again. I am wearing the designer shade up here first, and then I went into Dyed Up, and then I did go into a shade in the Just My Luck palette to finish it up, because I don't like, this one is like a, it's got like a little bit of bluey teal in it, so it's kind of not as correlated to these other greens in here. So I'm not super excited about that, but let's go in. We've got Designer, which is a matte with shimmer in it. Each of them have one of those. I don't know why. Then we've got Pose, which I will admit, this is a disappointing shimmer. I tried to use this on my lid like 3 times, and every time it was just like, nope, I'm just gonna fall right off your face. Then Dyed Up, and I will also say about these is there is a significant amount of kick up. So I don't know if you can tell, but I've got just a bit of a dent going on right there, and that's from using it like 2-3 times. But that is Dyed Up, and you know, it's got a lot of whatever, but it's beautiful. It's like electric. Yeah, we've got room. We can do this. So we have that there, this here. I mean, it's just pitiful. Just pitiful. And then this right there, which, like I said, I really like that shade. Then last but not least, we have got Oat right here, which is the shimmer I use on my eyes. It's kind of like a shamrocky green. And then we have Bold Type, which I do like. I just don't like it necessarily in correlation with these other green tones. So we've got that right there. That's so pretty. And then this one right here. This, as much as I like the color, I mean, do you see what happened? It kind of just went like that. It is really dry, really patchy. You do have to do a lot of work to get that shade to work, which is why I just kind of don't like it. It's just a little bit too high maintenance for me, you know, for the kind of payoff. It's just, compared to some of the other mattes and compared to dark green mattes that I've tried from Colourpop before, it really is just disappointing, just not what it could be formula-wise. Glitter just absolutely everywhere. I am very happy that tonight is my shower night, so any excess glitter, hopefully we can get off. And it depends on the shimmers. I mean, the glitters are not all like the same. Some of them are like more finer. This one's pretty chunky. I am not exceptionally well versed in pressed glitters, because y'all know I don't like them, and so therefore I don't typically buy them. I know some of y'all like them work. This one, that was just so pretty. I'm just typically pretty concerned about bringing any sort of glitter particles things close to my eyes, because they're already jacked up enough as it is. I don't need no pressed glitter coming all up in here and making me more legally blind than I am. That was hyperbolic. I'm not actually legally blind. I just have the genetic composition to have really poor eyesight, which is basically why before I got contacts, because I would always film without my glasses on, I'd be like, can I see you? And why I couldn't really do my makeup on camera, because I was just like, I can't do this. And again, that's another thing I hate about glitter, that it doesn't really just wipe away. It wipes some away. And then as you continue to do it, it just kind of smooths it and slides it around to other places on your body. From the window to the wall, there is a considerable amount of excess glitter. All right. Let's continue and finish the swatches of this palette. Lighting's gonna be fun because I've got my lights as well as the window out there. So if there is some of that going on, just bear with me, please. One of those situations where I'm here, we've got it, I'm feeling good, my makeup looks nice, I'm gonna film regardless of that. So let's go into here. We've got the blue row. We have Take It Easel, which this row is obviously most reminiscent of the blue one, which I don't have with me either. And then we've got Kaleidoscope, which is a nice, big, chunky, chunk pressed glitter. We've got Hot Copic, which is kind of in the same formulation as this disappointing green here, right there. It's kind of, the same thing going on. So we've got this here. We've got, so chunky. It's pretty, but it's chunky. And then the disappointing shimmer right there. Like, you have to press really hard down. And even if you I'll push my brush a little bit forward to get some shimmer kick up, and even then it just falls right off the lid. I don't know what they did with this. I have not tried it with a tacky primer or a glitter glue, because if it needs that much work, I mean, why? And last for here, we have got Watermark, which is also that matte with the shimmer running through it. Absolutely gorgeous. And Iconic, which is okay. I mean, it's a pretty blue. It's almost like a china blue, which I don't think goes incredibly well with the other colors, but it's still really pretty. Here we have that. I love that blue. That is a gorgeous, gorgeous blue. We have this one here, which is also pretty well formulated. It is a bit powdery. Like I said, you're going to get a significant amount of kick up in the pan. I didn't notice a huge amount of fallout with this one. I didn't notice a huge amount of fallout with the purples. There was some significant fallout with the dark green, and especially the shimmer that I used. There was shimmer all over my face after I was done. And now it's purple time. Purple is the only one I don't think, green doesn't have a pressed glitter, but we're gonna start off with Express here, which is just a nice shimmer. It is a bit flaky. I don't know if you can see, but it's got a little bit of chunk to it. Then we've got Selfie, which I really like. It's pretty dry and it takes a lot to build up. Y'all would have seen, or you will see in the try on there. I started off with this color. But even though it did take a long time to build up, it looked really, really pretty. I absolutely loved how that purple look came out. Then we've got Majestic, which is the next shade I went into. And here we have them here. Going on, it's really faint and you have to build it up, but after you build it up, this is definitely a swatch that doesn't look as good as it does when it's finished, but it's really, really pretty. And like I said, the only problem with it is you have to build it up a lot, which I'm not typically too opposed to. It's just something to keep in mind. Then last but not least, we have got Nouveau right here, which is kind of a better formulated version of this and this. It's obviously the same type of formula, but it's just a bit better than the blue or the green one. And then Zeitgeist. There may be letters in there that I'm not supposed to be pronouncing, so feel free to correct me down below. This is a fairly coarse feeling matte. It has a lot of kick up in the pan, but for some reason it didn't seem to show up significantly on my face when I was using it. It's really, really pretty. That swatch doesn't really do it justice how nice it was to use. I really appreciated, for all these, this looks like a pretty lackluster row, but for all of how it looks here, it performed really, really well on my eyes. I mean, I'm trying to wipe it away, and do you see all the glitter that is still on my hand? You would think I would be someone who would be decked out head to toe in glitter, but I swear I am just too anal to handle that kind of shiz. I'm just I can't handle all the schwitzing everywhere. It's everywhere and it's not wiping away. Okay, So we've got the swatches out of the way. Now, before I talk about how I entirely feel about the palette and the quality and everything like that, let's discuss color comparison between the other monochromatic palettes, because I feel like this is a case. If you have a certain amount of them, you're not gonna need this. So let's start off with this row right here, which, like I said, is most similar to Strawberry Shake here and the Ooh La La. Okay, so here we've got this row, and here we have these two palettes here. I do definitely believe that is the most similar to the Strawberry Shake one, which is this one here on top. I would say that Paradise is like a lighter version of Daiquiri, and then let's see here. Prismatic is kind of like Take a Sip right there in the middle. Lovecraft is most like Woke going on there. Like there were slight tonal differences, but I would say for this one, if you have the Strawberry Daiquiri one, you really don't need this palette for that section there. What it does have that the other palette doesn't have is the pressed glitter. That pressed glitter was one of the more difficult ones to work with. It was super thick and super chunky. So, you know, I see it being a little bit tonally different, but at the same time, it's just really, really similar. Next up is the orange peachy section here, which, like I said, we've got Orange You Glad and the Baby Got Peach. I will say, like, okay, if you have the Orange You Glad one, you probably don't need this section. The pressed glitter was relatively unoffensive. I love that Art Deco shade right there. I think that Treasure is kind of similar to this shade down here by my thumb. You know, kind of again, looking at it, I guess these two are just a hint more corally than orangey. You know, it's kind of this thing where it's like, again, all right, if you don't have this, then sure, this would be good. But if you do have this, you probably don't need this for this particular section here, which I'm sitting here and I'm sitting here and I bought this with my own freaking money. And I'm sitting here like, oh yeah, if you have this, you don't need this. And I'm like, well, you bought it anyway, I suppose. I mean, I guess what this palette has going for it in comparison to these is you just have the one volume. That's it. You don't have to have all the little ones. I mean, like I said, I do love the shades. I wish there was something maybe a little bit deeper here rather than it being more of a pinky corally shade. But that is just me. I have it. I'm going to use it. Retro Dream is an okay shimmer. It's not quite as bad as Haute and the Hot Copic one here, the blue one. So that one, I guess, is just kind of a, you probably don't need it. You know, if you have it, it would be a little redundant. Then we have the yellow one, which, like I said, I don't have my yellow palette to compare. I wasn't a huge fan. That was the Honey, wasn't it? I wasn't a huge fan of it. I adore this bonus point shade. I love the Shine Bright shade. I love the Big Smile shade. I wish this is more chunky, but it's so pretty. And for me to say that about a pressed glitter is a lot because I'm not an advocate for them in any way. So I would say, like, and this shimmer right here, this golden yellow, probably worth the yellow section in my idea, because I've already got some makeup looks that I've like, and I need that to be the centerpiece. So I'm okay with it just for that. Then obviously we have the green, which is actually comparatively probably one of the most that's different than the monochromatic one. I love this one. You all know that, Shizz. I love that designer shade up top right there. Once again, the green shimmer shade was kind of really underwhelming. This one is really nice right here. That one went a bit better. It is chunky, so you're gonna experience fallout. I really like Dyed Up, and this shade was kind of disappointing. If you're a green lover, this section is probably going to disappoint you just because there are so many, like you've got 5 shades and 2 of them are lame. So that's 3 green shades that if you're a green color lover, you probably already have in your collection. I was really sad. I like some of these shades and I think they'll go well with some of the other like green eyeshadow palettes I have, but it's not a section that I can say, yes, as a green lover, this entire section made me happy, because it didn't. Then the blue, which I also don't have. I've got mixed feelings. I have blue eyeshadow I don't do. When I do blue, I love it, but I don't do it very often. And so I don't like the glitter. The glitter is super, 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 super chunky. This shade is nice. That shade was obviously, basically the mattes are nice. I do like this one. I think it goes very well with that one. That is a very beautiful blue that I know there is a similar one in the Blue Moon palette because it's kind of like that like rich poppy china blue. So I really like the mattes in here, but once again, kind of like the green, when you've got 2 out of the 5 that just aren't that fantastic, it's a little bit of a letdown, although I'm really excited to use these 2 mattes in an upcoming look. And then last but not least, probably the 3 best quality rows are the purple, the yellow, the orangey corally here, and the reddy pinky. Just from like a whole row, this one, although this shade is a little bit like these problematic shimmers, that one's kind of chunky, you were still able to work with them. The green there and the blue there, I couldn't do diddly with them. So I really like the Majestic. I like this shade, even though takes a bit to build up. I do like the Zeitgeist one. Like I said, it's powdery, really powdery in the pan, but all in all, not, bad. Obviously, we gotta do some comparisons, so I've got Lilac You a lot, and the It's My Pleasure. Now, my only problem with these palettes majorly is that they're more shimmer than they are matte, and comparing them to the purples here, I would be hard pressed to say that you can't get a similar look, especially with the Lilac You a Lot. That one is the one that is most similar to this row because it's got the matte that's almost exactly like this Majestic shade here. The matte right here is just kind of like a lighter, less purpley version of that. We've got kind of a similar shade with these 2 here. This one's a little bit deeper. And we do have very similar correlating shimmers. So my final thoughts on this palette are actually pretty mixed. It's a little bit frustrating. I will say for this row, if you have if you have the correlating monochromatic palettes, you probably don't need this. It's a little bit redundant. There are a significant amount of similarities. I wish they had done something that was, because there are a plethora, even within these color stories, you could do so much more with them than what they've done. They're not that different compared to their monochromatic palettes, but they could have been. I know that part of the selling point of this palette is the fact that you do have it all in one, and that's fantastic, but part of my issue is the overall inconsistent quality. This row is all really nice except for the pressed glitter. This row is really nice. The pressed glitter is less awful to work with. This row I like except for the pressed glitter just because it's so chunky, but it is pretty. This row, the majority I like. See, I guess what I'm coming down to is the fact that this is not a palette that I would reach for and be like, all right, I'm gonna do a blue look. I'm gonna use all of these. This is more something that I'm gonna say, oh, that yellow is really pretty, or that orange is really pretty, and I'm going to use this to supplement other things that I have. I've used a couple of them in conjunction with the correlating monochromatic palettes. I like that. It's nice. It adds a little bit of something to it, but you're not going to die if you don't have this. And I feel like even with someone who then the next thing would be like, okay, well, if you're someone that doesn't have a lot of color, then this would be good for you. But I have issues with recommending it to someone who doesn't have the monochromatic palettes because the quality is much more inconsistent with this than the monochromatic palette. So it's kind of a case of, I have it. I'm so glad I got it on sale. I would have been very upset if I'd gotten this full price. I have it. I'm going to use it. I love some of the shades in here. I may attempt to depot those shades and then get rid of the ones that I don't like, because like I am living for this yellow gold right here. I just think it's absolutely stunning. But overall, it's frustrating because I can't be like, oh, it sucks, because it's not entirely awful, but I also don't want to say go out and buy it because I don't think it's worth it. I really don't. If you're someone who has a lot of color, you don't need this. If you're someone who doesn't have a lot of color, there are probably better formulated, colorful palettes out there. I mean, I would say even go into their like singles and custom make you a rainbow palette, because I have a lot of their bright singles and those are formulated significantly better than these. So long story short, I have it. I'm gonna use it. Like I said, some of the shades are really nice, but conclusion, like I said, if you've got those monochromatic palettes, you don't need this. There isn't enough difference to make it any kind of addition. And then if you're someone who wants to get into brights, this is probably not one that I would recommend. All right, there we go with that review. I think it went pretty well. I think I was fairly, you know, gave my own whatever to it. I know this is a review that is like so not relevant anymore, but y'all know that on my channel, I'm trying to buy less, so that means I'm gonna review less. And this one was pretty kind of wah for being my first review of the year. We can only go up from here. Obviously, I would love to know what y'all have to say about this palette. I know quite a few of you also recommended it to me, and they were like, oh, this is great. I love it. I really like it. So for all of y'all who really love it and like it, I'm so happy for you. But for me, it's just not enough on a whole for it to really do anything. And I know it's my money. I bought it. I already had the colors. I knew that. But I'm willing to take a hit for the team so that I can give y'all a good review on it so you can make better choices with your money than I did. But thank you guys so much for watching. I love you. And as always, keep it real. Mwah!